Super Bowl is almost here and we need the perfect game day snack. So today for my husband, I'm making loaded sheet pan nachos. It's versatile, budget friendly. You cannot go wrong with this one, y'all. You can do them however you want to. Over here, I'm about the best, which is budget friendly, easy, satisfying, and tasty. And today is the first part of my Cooking with Beef series, which will be from now and each week after. So let's get into this. Okay, so now we're gonna brown a little bit of ground beef. And when I say a little bit, it's really up to you how much you need. I'm using 2 pounds because half will go to something else and the other half will go towards the sheet pan nachos. If you're using refried beans, this would be the point where you're warming up your refried beans off to the side so that you can add them to your meat mixture later. I'm gonna put half of my taco seasoning blend now, which consists of cumin, chili powder, garlic powder, and I'll have all of these things in the description box. If you're using the packets, it's good. I just like to add a little extra to them even if I'm using the packet. Now, I'm going to preheat my oven to about 350 to prepare for the nachos and then add the rest of my taco blend. I like to add half during the cooking process and half when it's almost done. And even once there's no more pink and it's good and done, that will be the point where you add your refried beans. My family cannot stand we cannot stand refried beans for whatever reason. I don't know why. Now, I'm going to shred my cheeses. I'm using queso blanco. I'm also using mild cheddar as well as Monterey Jack. I do prefer to shred the cheeses myself because it just melts so much better when you're making the sheet pan nachos. I'm not opposed to using the bag. It just has more of a waxy film to it. I have definitely used the bag, and if you choose to, that's solely up to you. So to a pan, you're gonna add half a stick of butter and a tablespoon of flour to create a roux. You wanna cook that flour all the way through because you do not want a gritty taste in your cheese sauce. You're gonna add a little cold milk and slowly put your heat down to low, slowly stirring that mixture because this is going to be the point where you start to add your cheeses. I'm using queso blanco and the Monterey Jack. You will typically find this blend in a lot of Mexican restaurants, and the consistency you choose is solely up to you. I don't like mine too thin and I don't like it too thick, but it's really up to you. And if you find that you are making it a little thick, you can add a little more milk to bring it down a little bit with the consistency, but definitely do not overcook your cheese sauce. So at this point, I'm going to take some of the oil out of that ground beef. I could have just put it in a strainer, but the less cleanup I have to do, the better. I'm taking some of that oil out of that ground beef to get ready to start to put them over our nacho chips. And I'm adding pico de gallo. Now you can totally use rotel. Rotel is a favorite of mine as well. But because I wanted the diced onions and cilantro and diced tomatoes and all of that stuff, I chose to go with the pico de gallo, and I'm adding it to my cheese sauce so that I can just drizzle it all over my nachos later on in this process. Once again, if it's too thick, add a little bit of milk. It's completely up to you. So now I'm going to begin by layering those chips out as much as possible from corner to corner on my sheet pan. It really depends on how big your sheet pan is. This bag, one bag, was enough for the sheet pan nachos for me, and that's with layering. Have you ever been to a restaurant and you got loaded nachos and they just do not put enough of the meat? Like, no matter what it is, rather whatever protein you choose. And that's another thing. If you choose to make this, because nachos are so versatile, you can use any protein you want, or they could just be vegetarian. It's really your preference. So I'm layering those with the queso blanco as well as the Monterey Jack again, and I'm gonna also layer them with the mild cheddar because these are gonna go in the oven on that 350 temperature until the cheese is just completely melted and bubbly and ready to go. So at this point I'm adding more chips because, like I said, we are creating a layer here. More ground beef and more cheese. I know somebody's gonna be like, that's way too much cheese. Oh, I don't feel like you can never have enough cheese on some nachos. This may not even be enough. Now we're gonna put those in the oven, like I said, and let those go until the cheese is nice and bubbly and melted. And then I'm going to add some diced jalapeno peppers. These are not the hot ones, at least in my opinion, because I would have preferred the spicy, but it's okay. And then I'm gonna drizzle my cheese sauce all over those and then top it with some guacamole and some sour cream, and it's ready to go, baby. We'll do a little dancey dance. They look so good. This is perfect for game day, and I'm probably gonna pair this with some buffalo wings. I'm thinking honey chipotle buffalo wings. And if you would like to see how I make my game day wings, definitely leave me a comment and I got you. Bye, babies.